it's 3 o'clock and the library closes at 6, and I'm just enjoying myself out here because why not? And got myself a little energy drink because it's the weekend, and I won't say I'm addicted to caffeine, but I used to have like 10, 12 coffees a day just because it was there and I was bored. So I don't have that at home anymore. And where at work it's available, yeah, but you know, come on, it's available for the whole team, and you're gonna be busy all the time. So if you get a cuppa maybe once every 2 or 3 hours, and it's for like 5 minutes, then that's fine. And if we're real busy, you know, I'm preoccupied anyway, and all I need is I only need 2 coffees a day. So I'm just enjoying this and this little scenery here, and here's the library over there. And I was thinking about scenes of Jesus, because I've always loved Jesus. The thing I didn't like about, the thing I came to question when I was in my late 20s, because I stopped attending church when I was 28 years old, was the fact that from what I was reading things, and then Jesus had a lot of balls too, but also how I perceived it was the world's most kind and loving man got blamed for everything. And you know, when I got to 28, 29 years old, I was like, I'm glad that God has done that for everyone, but why the hell was it the most perfect innocent one? Why wouldn't people just take responsibility? Wouldn't God just hold people accountable for their own decisions and their own actions? Well, it's nothing that new when it comes to this, because it's mango, so you know, it's just another branding. But I thought, oh yeah, usually that brand is $7 or something instead of $3.50, but where I topped up my snapper, because I catch the bus and to avoid paying parking fees, which are $4 for half an hour, so if I'm in for a couple of hours, it's about $16. And then the bus is $1.60. I know, so it'd be $3.20 instead of $16. Anyway, this was only $4, so that was different. So I thought, is there anything that makes this brand different to the other energy drinks? It's got 5 carbohydrates. It's got 5 grams of carbohydrates instead of 0, so it's a bit lenient for me, because I usually go for the 0, but I just hadn't tried this one before. This flavour of this label, haven't tried it before. But it tastes the same as other mango drinks. So, yeah, but why does he get blamed for everyone else's wrongdoings when he's done nothing wrong? I could really relate to that. Also, he'd been, calling out the Pharisees, calling out the Sadducees. Not afraid to share his opinion to the teachers when he was 12 years old. I'm going to search it up, because apparently, maybe I forgot about it, but there was not a confrontation, but he was getting educated according to a pastor when he was 5 years old, and the teacher was repeating, and he wouldn't reply, and then he said something like, can you explain me? He says, what is the power behind the alpha? What is the beta, meta, alpha, something, omega? What is the power instead of just repeating what the teacher said, this is what the preacher said on here. Because I view religions as a description of how the world is. So, but then yet again, it's like if I could see all these traits, because whether the real Jesus was the same as the Jesus of the Bible, because it's probably be based upon all this real stuff, but at the same time they added superhero elements. Kind of like Forrest Gump, eh? Because in the book, he's actually a lot more like me, because in his 20s, everything he touched was like, oh. In his 20s, everything he touched was like, just fell apart straight away, or it would fall apart over time, over like 2 or 3 years or something. And then like in the second book is where he just focuses on the stuff that succeeded for 2 or 3 years until eventually they fell apart due to his own mistakes, or because people, he trusted the wrong people and they took advantage of it and ripped them off and all that. And then the second book, he doesn't make the same mistakes, and he only focuses on the ones that he succeeded before they fell apart. He doesn't make the same mistakes. He's very careful as to who he trusts, and then he ends up thriving. Ends up, oyster business. He ends up, if anyone wants to go to him, if anyone wants to get anything in regards to like oyster or shrimp, because the shrimp business fell apart in the first book. First book came out like 8 years before the movie. Well, it fell apart. It was one of the things that eventually fell apart. And then at the end of the book, he said he was in his mid-30s, and then 5 years later he started seeing he's getting old, and he saw wrinkles going on his forehead, and he didn't want to raise his son Forrest because he thought that he was an idiot and dumb, and he wanted his son Forrest to be successful. So it's in the second book that he becomes a father, because he starts thriving, and he's like, well, I want to teach my son Forrest what I know. Maybe I'm not as stupid as I think I am. I'm running this business, and I had all these other things that fell apart after 2 or 3 years because I trusted the wrong people or made dumb decisions. But hey, maybe that's what happens when you're in your 20s. 20s to mid-30s. Anyways, for Jesus, calling out the Pharisees, calling out the Sadducees. He's 5 years old, getting spoken to by teachers because he zapped the kid on the spot because the kid bumped into him, and he said that that's as far as you're going to be going on your way. And the kid, did he get with it or he died? This is when Jesus was like a little kid. And then this teacher, like the teacher who he said, can you repeat after me? Alpha, beta, meta, omega. Jesus, alpha, beta, meta, omega. And then he keeps repeating, and Jesus doesn't reply. And then Jesus eventually replies after the teacher's like, what the hell? And then Jesus says, what is the power behind the alpha, and what is the power behind the omega? And then the teacher, according to the pastor, or whatever they call the people standing on the stage these days, pastor, apostle, bishop, whatever, the teacher hit Jesus across the back of the head. He whacked him upside the head, and then the teacher ended up withering. He withered away, like he shrunk after he hit Jesus. And then but then they grew up, and then Jesus was calling out the Pharisees and the Sadducees and people who were dog walking other people, and he was healing the people. I've healed people that they used to be blind and injured,